welcome to Rathod Science Academy. Today in this session, we are going to see current affairs of 18th January 2025. So let's get started with our discussion. And before starting my analysis, I want to make a small announcement, guys. So we are going to start our GS Prelims Cum Mains Foundation course from 20th January onwards, that is from Monday onwards. So if you are interested to take this course, and I already got some of your queries from you, I think. So if you are wishing to join this, so you can contact us and you can take admission, and admissions are going on. Okay, so don't get delayed. Okay, and the first subject we are going to start with is history by Rasul sir, who is having 14 years of experience in this UPSC field. Okay, so let us see the first article. See the title, guys. So title says Gaza truce approved by Israel Security Cabinet. So from last 3 to 4 days onwards, we are talking about this topic, which is regarding agreement to stall this Israel-Palestine issue. Okay, so let us see the keyword. The keyword here is, it is given here, that is Gaza truce. That is nothing but Gaza agreement. So this topic is important from your GS paper 2 under international relations. So if you see our economy or like polity or our foreign policy, international relations, so everything is revolving around two important geopolitical issues which are going on. So one issue is Russia-Ukraine crisis, second one is Israel-Palestine issue, right? So here this step is very important because it is going to have impact on our economy, impact on our foreign policy, and impact on our governance making thing also. So why? All these subjects are interrelated because of one is oil that we are getting from this West Asian countries. And next one is it is very much near to our trade route. That is nothing but important choke point. So if something is happening wrong in this West Asia, obviously it is having impact on India. And third important point here is you have to see about our remittances. So oil, especially crude oil imports for India is very crucial for our energy security. From energy security point of view, it is very important. And if there is any changes which happens in this crude oil, like increasing or decreasing of prices, that will be having impact on our economy, right? And next one is if trade route is got blocked, then what happens? There will be delay in supply of goods. There will be delay in supply of goods. And next one is we have to go for searching for other alternative diverting route. So with that what happen? So distance can be increased and there can be increasing of time. So because of all of these, it will be having impact on our economic activities in our country, right? And next one is remittances. Remittances is nothing but Indian diaspora, that is Indian origin people who are living in other countries. They are earning something and they are sending back some amount to their families. That comes under part of your remittances. Through this remittances, we can get foreign currency or our forex reserves. They are somewhat dependent on this remittances. So if you are not getting remittances, why, if you're not getting remittances, why I'm talking about this point is, so whenever there is peace, whenever there is peace and safety and security which is provided for the people in other countries, then only they will get some livelihood opportunities to work. So whenever they are working, then only they will be getting their salary, so that they will be sending back some amount to their families. So if there is no proper safety and security that we are providing for those people, obviously it is affecting remittances. So if you are getting less amount of remittances, it will be affecting our foreign reserves. And even if the remittances is decreasing, there will be increasing of value for the dollar, decreasing of value for currency that we are facing now. So that leads to rupee depreciation, right? Depreciation of rupee, that is nothing but decreasing of value of rupee. So in turn that will leads to increasing of burden on the government, and even our imports will be getting costlier. Overall, everything is related to the peace and security in this region. So especially we are going to establish peace and security in this region through this Gaza agreement. So this is a one important issue that we have to focus on. So here, what are the things that you have to see? First, you have to see about which countries are mediating this. So mediator countries, you have to see that. That is important from your prelims. And even you have to see what is this agreement, in how many phases it is going on. So it is going on in 3 phases. In each and every phase, so how they are going to settle this dispute. So all these things that you have to see. Okay. Now let us see what exactly given in this article. So recently, Israel Security Cabinet approved this ceasefire deal between this Israel and Gaza. Okay. And if you see some facts, which countries are the mediators for this agreement? As I said, there are 3 countries. First one is Qatar, second one is Egypt, and third one is US. So these are the 3 countries which are mediating this agreement between these two. And actually, as I said, there are 3 phases in which this agreement will goes on. So in the first phase, it is for the first 6 weeks, that is around 42 days. From the day of agreeing of this or signing of this agreement, for next 42 days, it will comes under phase 2, phase 1. So in this phase 1, they are going for a gradual withdraw from central Gaza. So they are going for withdrawing of their troops. And next one is they will be returning the displaced Palestinians. And next one is they are also going to provide some humanitarian aid. Okay. So these are the 3 important steps you are going to take in this phase 1. So after this 42 days, then the second phase starts. So in this second phase, they are going to release remaining hostages, and they are going for complete withdrawal of the troops. And in the third phase, they are going for reopening of the cross border, so that they can allow the movement of people, movement of trucks, and even whatever the bodies which are there, and those bodies will be returning back in this third phase. So in these 3 phases, so this agreement will goes on. So it is one of the important step which is changing the foreign policy of different countries which are surrounding in this West Asia. Okay, now let us see the next topic. So if you see the title, it says that at least 126 Indians joined Russian forces. 12 killed, 16 feared missing, says Ministry of External Affairs. So this article, it is talking about Indians who joined these Russian forces. Okay, this article is talking about India-Russia relations. It is talking about India-Russia relations. So this article is important from again GS paper 2 under international relations. And this topic is important from India bilateral relations. India bilateral relations. So what is this article saying? So you know that Russia-Ukraine war had been started in 2022, and it had been more than 2 years onwards. Okay, it has been more than 2 years. From this 2 years onwards, Russia is fighting against this Ukraine. So whenever we are seeing that war like conditions, so what is the important thing they want? They want good army. Good army, right? So if they are having the good army, this will be the strength for any country to fight against any country in this traditional war-like situations. So actually, what is the thing which is in news is from India. So youngsters, they had been attracted towards this Russia-Ukraine war, and they are acting as frontliners. They are acting as frontliners in this Russia-Ukraine war under this Russian army. So actually these people, they had been recruited through illegal means. Through illegal means they had been recruited by showing job offers in Russia. And even some important positions in Russia, they had been attracted and they had been deployed as frontliners in Russia army against this Ukraine. So actually at that time they don't have any choice to come back. So they have to stay in that and they are fighting. So actually recently Russian president, he gave a statement that we are going to send back Indians who had been deployed under this frontliners in Russian army who are fighting against this Ukraine. So this article is saying that how many people? There are around 126 Indians who joined these Russian forces. Out of this, around 96 people had been sent back till today. Okay, there are about 96% they had been sent back, and remaining people like 12 had been killed in the conflict, and we don't know about the details regarding 16 people they are missing. Okay, so there are around 126 people they joined. Out of this 96 they had been sent back to India, and there are 12 who are died in the conflict, and there are details we have to find about 16 people. So here we are thinking about this 16 people now. And next one here is, if you see about developments, regarding India-Russia relations, you can add this point in your International Relations Act. So around 126 Indians, they joined Russian forces. So out of this, Russian government tried to send back Indians. So in this way, here we both, that is India and Russia, so they are working together for safeguarding of our Indian diaspora. So in this way, you can write about one area of cooperation between India and Russia is taking care of Indian diaspora. And even you can write about this S-400 Triumph missiles as well that we are going to get from this Russia. And you have to say like why the delay of this S-400 had been done. So this is also one important cause of concern in the recent past between India and Russia relations. So that is the thing that you have to see about. Okay, now let us see the next article. Okay, title says government plans to make India hub for mobility sector. So this is a statement which is given by our Prime Minister. So whenever higher officials of government of India like President, like Prime Minister, External Affairs Minister or Finance Minister, so whenever they are giving any statements, you can directly use those statements in introduction and as well as conclusion of your answers because they are authenticated, right? So here our Prime Minister, he said that we are going to make India as a mobility hub, not only for our domestic products but even throughout the globe. They want to make India as a hub for mobility sector. Okay, so this article is talking about indirectly automobile sector, right? It is talking about automobile sector in India. So why it is in news? Our Prime Minister gave a statement that India so they want to make India global hub. Okay, so our Prime Minister, he gave a statement that he want to make India as a global hub for this automobile. So this statement is clearly given in your title. So here, if our Prime Minister is saying something, means he has some validated information regarding yes, we are going to achieve that. That means here you have to see what are the advantages. So what are the positives regarding our automobile sector in India? Why our Prime Minister made this statement? So this is a thing that you have to think. And another side, so every coin will be having the two sides, right? So this is the one side. We have to think why our Prime Minister made this statement. On another side, if we want to make this India as a global hub, what are the further more steps can be taken? Okay, I hope you're getting my point. Like what are the further steps? Or you have to see what are the challenges. And you have to see how we can address those challenges so that India can make as a global hub. So if you want to see about the positive points why our Prime Minister said this thing. So first one is now we are focusing on electric vehicles. And here we have this scheme called as FAME scheme. And even government came up with this PLI, that is production linked incentive schemes. And even now we are going for green hydrogen. And even recently government came up with this policy, that is vehicle scrappage policy of old vehicles. So because of these evidences, our Prime Minister gave up the statement that India is going to become a global hub. And another side, you have to see what are the challenges we are facing. For example, if you say electric vehicles, so blast in the electric vehicles is one of the important challenges that we are facing. So like that, regarding green hydrogen, so we have a problem regarding the technology, how we can produce that. And even government is focusing on 20% of blending of ethanol, okay, with petrol. And next one here is, here we have challenges that if we want to increase these electric vehicles, we don't have the infrastructure of charging stations. So we have to replace this petrol and diesel stations with this electric charging stations. So likewise, what are the challenges we are having? So my sincere request for you guys is, so see what are the challenges that we are facing in our automobile sector, and what are the steps that you can recommend, what are the way forward things from your side. So think from this area, then you can write a very good answer and you can develop your own perspectives regarding if any statement made by higher officials of our government of India. Okay, and this topic is important from your GS paper 3 under environment and ecology. This is important from your GS paper 3 under economy as well. And even you have to see from geography in India, in which area, in which states they are focusing on automobile sector. So in which states they have this assembling and different parts which are produced in our country. So even you have to know about places in India where we are having manufacturing of these automobiles, automobile hubs. Okay. And now let us see the context. So in a significant address in Bharat Mobility Global Expo. So in Bharat Mobility Global Expo in 2025 in New Delhi, our Prime Minister made a statement that India is going to become global hub for mobility sector. Especially we are focusing on electric and as well as sustainable transportation. So because of these 2 points, our Prime Minister said that we are going to become the global hub. So I don't know like how you'll digest this, and let me know like what are the challenges we are facing. Can we address this, or can we reach this target of Prime Minister or not? So please let me know in the comment box. Okay, now let us see the details which are given in this article. The first one here is, our Prime Minister, he emphasized on make in India. Not only make in India but even make for world. So you can use this statement, make in India, make for world, in your answers case, write somewhere. And it underlines that there is a shift towards make in India, a significant player in the global mobility sector. And especially we are focusing on increasing of our Indian export capabilities. And especially we are focusing on increasing of our domestic market for electric and as well as sustainable vehicles. So especially we are focusing on increasing of investments. So if you are increasing or if you are attracting more investment in this sector, obviously we can attract global players. So whenever we are attracting the global players, India will be the global hub. So this is the idea behind our Prime Minister's statement. And next one here is, especially we are focusing on increasing of our electric vehicles. The important mission came up by Government of India is National Electric Mobility Mission. Okay, and it is one of the transformative approach of our transportation in India. And even we are focusing on addressing of environmental concerns regarding this automobiles. So we are focusing on shifting towards renewable energy. For example, we are focusing on green hydrogen. We are focusing on blending of this petrol with 20% of ethanol, so that we can decrease carbon dioxide emissions, that will enhance complete burning. Okay, so that is the thing which mainly said, nothing more than that. And see this article, budget session of Parliament from January 31st to April 4th. So this article is also very important. So this article is talking about sessions of parliament. So this topic is important from your GS paper 2 under polity. So we can't interlink with any other subject. So it is solely related to your polity. And you can see this topic directly in your parliament chapter of your Lakshmika. Okay, so here you have to see about Article 85. Because Article 85 deals with the sessions of parliament, who will prorogue the session, who will start the session, and what's the time, so what are the important debates and discussions, everything will be said by this Article 85. And next you have to see about different types of sessions. So we have 3 sessions, that is BMW. BMW. B is for budget, M is for monsoon, W is for winter. And there is also one more mnemonic that you can remember, fast jate nahi. Okay, BMW fast jate nahi. That means normally budget session will start from February and it will be for 4 months normally, February, March, April. And next one is monsoon session. It will be starts from normally July. It will be for 3 months. And winter session starts from November month. So normally 4, 3, 2. So these are the times for this sessions. And you have to see what is this budget session, when it starts, and normally what is the agenda of that session. So all those things that you have to remember. And there may be a prelims based question from this area, and earlier already UPSC asked question from these sessions. Okay, and now let us see. And if you are getting any mains based question regarding the sessions of parliament, try to start your answer with articles. So if you are writing your polity based answers, you have to start from articles or Supreme Court judgments. So this is thumb rule that you have to follow to gain good marks. Okay, now let us see about sessions of parliament. So sessions are nothing but they are serving as a forum for people's representatives to debate, to discuss, or to enact laws. So which article talks about this? Article 85. Article 85 of our Indian Constitution deals with the sessions of parliament. It is related to especially how and when they are held, about president power, and summoning, proroguing, and dissolving of parliament. So all these things are clearly said in your Article 85, and even we have Article 85 subclass 1 and subclass 2 deals about these things. So if you see about this budget session, so budget session which mainly starts normally from the month of February, and the important objective of this session is annual union budget will be presented. It is about our fiscal policies of the government and the priorities of the government regarding upcoming financial year, what they are going to do. So in which department, how much budget they are allocating. For example, which schemes are getting how much amount. So is that necessary to provide that much amount from that scheme or not? So what are the outcomes of that scheme, whether it is going well or not, what are the problems, all these will be discussed in that budget session. And what are the activities? Normally, they will examine the budget proposals and they will propose some amendments to the schemes, and even they will participate in some discussions so that they will enhance transparency and accountability regarding fund allocation. And second one is monsoon session. So normally from June, July and August it will be starting, and it will be focusing on enacting of legislations, and the bills will be introduced, and they'll go for extensive debates regarding the problems of our country. Okay, and next one is winter session. Normally in the month of November and December we have this, and it is a very short session. And see this article guys, very important from your prelims. Threats in Gulf of Aden and Red Sea could increase, says Defense Minister. Okay, to get into this article, first of all, I want to let you know where is this location located. So here if you see this map location, so this part is your Red Sea, and here we have a small strait called as Bab el Mandab, and here we have Gulf of Aden. Okay, so it is nothing but here you can see Arabian Sea part and Indian Ocean. That is nothing but this part is the extension of your Indian Ocean part. Okay, now let us see the keywords. First one is Red Sea, and second one is Gulf of Aden. And these two are connected by a small strait. It is called as Bab el Mandab. Bab el Mandab. Okay. So here this article is important from your GS paper 1 under geography. So you have to see map location, especially you have to see countries which are sharing boundary, and as I said you have to see about the strait. And next one is, it is also important from GS paper 2 under international relations. Why? Because the countries which are sharing boundary with these water bodies, they are causing some challenges. So from this challenges point of view, it is important to refer from your international relations. Okay, and even it is important from your GS paper 3 under economy. Why? Because this Bab al Mandab, it is one important choke point through which one kind of global trade happens. So because of this, it is important from your economy point of view as well. Okay, so now let us see what are the things that you have to see from challenges. So as you all know that, especially Horn of Africa, some countries which are sharing boundary with this Red Sea. So there is a issue of piracy. So whenever piracy is an issue, can we ensure free trade? No. So it is also having impact on free trade. That means there is no freedom of navigation. And as you all know that, India is a leader of Global South. So it is India's responsibility for increasing of safety and security in this Indian Ocean region. That means it is also important from safety and security in Indian Ocean region. So these are some challenges that we are having. So now if you go back to the article title, it says that we are having increased threat. We are having increased threat from this Gulf of Aden. So what is the threat here is sea route safety. Next one is piracy. And they said about protecting of our territorial waters. And next threat here is freedom of navigation. And next one is keeping of our maritime highways safe. Okay, so these are the some important problems which are said here. And because of increasing of crisis in this region also, we are going to have increasing of threats. So in this paragraph, they said about what are the steps can be taken by India. So first one here is, we can play a very critical role in naval civilians. For example, we can increase our navy operations in these regions, and we can try to provide technical assistance for the other countries, and we can also provide logistic supports. And always our navy should combat readiness, and even we have to go for operational readiness as well. So if you are doing all these things, then we can make safety and security in this Indian Ocean region. And I want to share one thing. So in this Sankranti holidays, I watched one movie that is not a new movie. It is already old movie, that is Operation Valentine. So if you see that Operation Valentine movie, that is readily available in your Prime videos. If you watch that video, sorry, not video, it is around 2 hours of movie, then you will be getting insights regarding what are the fighter jets that we are having. So what are the missiles, what is this Project Vajra, and you can see about Pulwama attack of 2019, and even in retaliation we did air strikes in Balkot that had been clearly depicted in that movie. So if you're getting time, so try to watch that Operation Valentine movie. And I want to again watch that movie. So within 1 week, I will be watching the second time. And even you can understand what is the importance of radars and anti-radar missiles. So everything that is very much clearly depicted, and even they showed about what is the Air Force defense mechanism of Pakistan as well, and how we are tracing those, and what is the operations that will be done by Air Force. Everything is clearly depicted, and it is a very nice movie that I liked. So please try to watch that, okay, so that you will be getting lots of insights regarding our missile defense system that you are having now. Okay, now let us see some facts regarding this Gulf of Aden. So Gulf of Aden, it is an extension of Indian Ocean region. As I said, it is located between Arabian Sea, Arabian Peninsula, and as well as African continent. And actually, the Gulf of Aden, the Aden is nothing but a port city in Yemen coast. So based on that port city, it got this name called as Gulf of Aden. And it is bordered by different countries like Somalia, and from Somalia we have this issue of Somalian pirates. And next one is Yemen, and even Arabian Sea is sharing this boundary, and as well as Djibouti. Okay, so these are the things. And next important facts that you have to see is Red Sea. So Red Sea, it is a semi-enclosed sea, and it is like a very saltiest and as well as a warmest sea in the globe. And you have to see the countries: Yemen, Saudi Arabia, Sudan, Eritrea, Djibouti. So these are the countries that are sharing boundary with this. And actually the name, the Red Sea, which got to this is based on the color. The color will be changed. So what is the important reason behind the changing of the color of this sea is there will be the increasing of growing of algae. Algal bloom will happen. That algae is called as Trichodesmium erythrum, which causes red color, which gives red color appearance to this sea. So because of this, the name which got to this is Red Sea. Okay, and the next important article here is research questions iron deficiency as a key cause of anemia in India. So the key word you have to see is anemia. Anemia is a condition where there is decreased hemoglobin level. So hemoglobin level is decreased. Normally it will be from 12 to 16 deciliter. Okay. So actually there is decreasing of hemoglobin level, and this is called as anemia. So there are various causes. So there are various causes for this anemia. Is one is iron deficiency, one is vitamin B12 deficiency, folic acid deficiency, like that. So there are different wide range of reasons for this anemia in humans. So if you compare to that of male and females, so males will be having high amount of hemoglobin compared to that of females. So actually the problem here is, so in India we are taking lot of steps to control this anemia. So government came up with this program called as PM Poshan, and even for adult girls who enter into this puberty stage. And next one is for children, for pregnant women, lactating women, government is providing some supplies through Anganwadi centers. And even especially in this pregnant and lactating women, government is providing some iron pills, especially for improving of blood content or hemoglobin content in women. So the problem here is in India, what are the steps we took till now for increasing of hemoglobin levels is through iron supplements only. But recently one study which says that iron deficiency is just 1/3 reason for causing of anemia in India. But there are other lying factors which is leading to the anemia. But if you are focusing on only providing of iron supplements, it will be decreasing anemia only in 1/3 of population who are having this anemia because of iron deficiency. But what about other reasons? So that is the thing which is said here clearly. Okay, and here if you see the reasons, so they said that vitamin B12 deficiency, air pollution, they're also influencing this anemia. In that conditions, if you are giving only iron supplement, that will not work. So that is about this study is about. And there are two editorials in our today's newspaper. So first one is script reading. So this article is about IVC script. So recently Tamil Nadu Chief Minister announced around $1 million for the person who deciphers this IVC script, right? So from this point of view, you have to see like why this IVC script is important from today's. So what you are going to get if you are decipher this IVC. So we can understand about our old civilization and how the people used to be, how the economy, how the trade, and with which countries we had trade, and about we can understand about especially the culture, the way of living of the life of that people. But here this article is saying that we should not include politics here. So we're not going to see any politics, but you have to see about what is this IBC script and what is specialty of this script and why in these years we didn't decipher that. So those are the things that we have to focus on, and you have to focus on especially IBC this year, Indus Valley Civilization or Harappan Civilization, and you can get a question for sure in your prelims. And next one, it is about inflation matrix. So recently we studied that inflation is increasing in our country. So here you have to know about your basics of your economy, like what is inflation, what are the causes of inflation, and you have to see different types of inflation. So what is monetary policy, what is fiscal policy, all those things that you have to see. That's it. Okay. So these are the important topics that appeared in our today's Hindi newspaper. So by this I'm concluding. And I want to remind you once again that we are going to start new GS Prelims Mains Foundation batch from 20th onwards. It is going to be started with history. It is very, very important. Will be taken by Rasool sir, who is having 14 years of experience in this UPSC. So don't miss. If you want to join, you can join either online or offline. So both is available. And even we started anthropology course also. So it is on both online and offline. So price is very affordable. That is just 35,000 for offline, and online is 30,000 rupees. And we are going to cover each and everything along with this case studies, and I will be teaching in a such a very easy manner so that you can revise and you can remember around 80% of that anthropology in the class itself. That's all guys, and if you want to clear your queries or doubts, you can call me on this number and you can talk to me directly. 8074765513. You can call on this number or you can text me on WhatsApp on this number so that you can clear your queries before joining the course. Okay. Thank you so much guys for watching, and please do subscribe to Rathod Science Academy, and don't forget to like and share this class.